Good afternoon, Instagram family and Facebook family. Welcome to another series of business strategies and tips with Lady L. I am your host, Lady L, and we're going to go into one of our last parts of the segment that we've been talking about on business credit and making sure that we are covering all areas and bases regarding funding opportunities for your business. So, some may have even asked, well, how much? I'm just starting a business. I really don't have that much of an idea of how much capital or equity or finances to even start a business. Well, let's look at some factors. One, you definitely have to look at your industry. So, of course, you're going to need more capital if you're going to be using physical equipment, such as in construction, landscaping, beauty supply, or in the beauty industry. So you have to look at your industry, do your research, and find out what is the average cost of a startup for that particular industry. Once you've done that, then you'll know pretty much how much you need to put in yourself. It's easier to get funding when you have shown some type of sweat equity effort, meaning you've personally put some funding in. So if you're just starting out on your business and, for instance, you're still working, and I know you're going to probably be taking resources from your household finances. So it may take a little longer than you had anticipated. That's why I always say be patient with the process, enjoy the journey. It's because the journey is the true destination. The fruit of your journey becomes the manifestation of the services that you are providing. So be patient with the process, be patient with yourself, have a plan. Please visit my YouTube channel, Lady Vern, Ladyverne, and we talk about step by step how to develop that infrastructure so that you are solid, and whatever time that it takes, fine. If there are benefactors, philanthropists that you are connected to, they still need to see a written format, a written plan, a written strategy to say to themselves, okay, this is worth me taking an initial investment out on this person. And the same thing with a business loan. Business loan is a lending agreement between a lender and a business in which the lender gives money to the business and the business pays it back in an agreed upon amount of time with an agreed upon amount of interest. Business loan types include term loans like an SBA loan or business line of credit. So you really have to sit down and assess what you actually need. Do your due diligence with your equipment, your supplies, your things to run your office, your computers, all of that. You want to put together a financial plan for all of the things that you'll need so that when you're going forward in acquiring funding for your business, you already know how much of it you can put in, preferably up front, what you have as collateral, so that people can see that you are definitely a legitimate business. Now, what does a business need to get a loan for? You will need the following financial legal documents to get a small business loan, such as your personal and your business income tax returns, your balance sheet and income statement. We talked about that in previous shows. We talked about your balance sheet, income statement, personal and business bank statements, photo of your driver's license, commercial leases, business licenses and certifications, your articles of incorporation, especially if you are a tax exempt organization. And when you have already put these structures in place, now you know why you needed to put all that information in place, because when you decide to go out for a business loan or business funding, these are the things they're going to ask you for, and you can give them without hesitancy. Okay? Business loans are a great help in meeting working capital requirements and expanding the business. That's why it's so important for you to make sure that you know your business costs, because then you know exactly what you're going for. You know exactly what terms that you can agree to, predicated on what you're going to charge in your fees. You have to make sure that not only are you breaking even, but you have to establish a markup percentage. Do you want to make 20% over your break even, or 40%, or 50%? You put the value on what you know you are providing to the general public. You know your worth. Don't cheat yourself of your worth. You know what you bring to the table. So by any means, I'm going to get to that. Chaos Blackwell, what type of loan would you recommend for a startup? Well, let's see. You can look at institutions that specialize in startup capital. You can look at institutions that specialize in, well, I've been running my business for quite some time. You know, this is what we've done. This is what I look like on paper. How can you help me take my business to the next level? It's very similar to the Shark Tank concept, wherein as they look and see what you've already done, the effort you've already put in. Say you've been in business 10 plus years, 15 plus years, and they see that level of consistency, they're more apt to be able to fund whatever it is that you're getting ready to take your business to the next dimension on. So the term startup capital refers to the money raised by a new company in order to meet its initial costs. Entrepreneurs who want to raise startup capital have to create a solid business plan. You can go to any lending firm when you have a solid business plan. Business plan, you've looked at your market, you're able to meet the needs or the demand of your market, you've done it successfully, or you have a plan in place to do it successfully. They look at the potential of your business from the standpoint of the fact that you're adding your annual statement, your annual report. You're also putting in what your plan is for the business for the first, if you're 0 to 5 in your business, or if you're 5 to 10, they need to see that series of progression. When they see that series of progression, then they know definitely that you are a very good candidate to give you startup capital. So your solid business plan, if there's a prototype involved, because some of you may have witty ideas, business inventions, do what you need to do to make sure that those things are presentable. Owner's equity. Owner's equity is basically what you initially put into the business. What did you invest in the business, and the value of the business assets owned by the business owner. In other words, if you have other assets that are either directly or indirectly connected to your business, are those assets fixed assets, meaning they're land, or liquidated type access, equipment, and different things of that nature? If you want to upgrade some of these services that you provide, because you know technology and equipment does its evolving, its innovation to do better in its production and in its services it provides. So it's taking stock of all of that. Do I have any lender recommendations for startups? Let's see. I'm answering a question. Recommendations for lender startup. Well, the first place you can definitely start is with the bank that you're currently banking with. If they don't provide the full services that you need, it's no problem establishing another type of banking relationship. You can start with the SBA. SBA is a little tricky, but they assist you in preparing to go for business lending or for business funding. There's local organizations within your state, within your city, within your county. See what startup or any type of lending abilities that they have. You can even look up in grants. There are certain states that have their own grant portals that they will look at contracts that you can go for, and they will give you certain levels of funding for those contracts. So it's let's see. You look at some resources. Let's see. There's some that, let's see. One is called Blue Vine. Okay, and they can give up to $100,000 a year if you have $100,000 a year in annual revenue. Most of them, they want to see that you've made anywhere from 5 to 6 figures on your own in your business, because now they're ready to take you to the next step. Fundbox, Fundbox, On Deck, Ondeck, and Kiva, Kiva, Lendio, Lendio. Just check out some of those options. There are headings like Best Small Business Loans for Startups in 2022. You want to get as much current information as possible, so that, and they specialize in startups, so that you can make sure you are getting the best options possible. Definitely make sure that you are clear and that you understand their terms, how they benefit you. You want to make sure that how they report to your business paydex. You want to see how much of a benefit they are. What do they give to you? There's another one. It's called Cabbage with a K. And let's see. So I would say those are about the top 5 or 6. Now, for those that may be on a level in their business where personally you make a pretty decent income, maybe from some of your investments and other things that you're connected to, and we're going to talk about that. Businesses can make investments and get a return on your investments that you can funnel into your business. Just make sure that they're sound investments. Please understand, the market is the market. It goes up, it goes down, it goes sideways. Please make sure that you are getting correct information on how to work the market. One of the biggest and most successful organizations that I can recommend right now is Magnet Exchange Group. That's Magnet, exchangegroup.com. Visit their website. They have platforms where they make their recommendations of what they have vetted to make sure that they're legitimate companies, that they're legitimate investments, that they're wise investments. Magnet Exchange Group has a university, which I have personally been attending for 2 years now, and we are able to go into sound, profitable investments, and those investments can be moved into your business. We also have an affiliate company called Mindfulness Creations, which will help you with your business credit, that will help you with trade lines. There's classes of students that are preparing to be able to service. I'm going to be one of those when I graduate, so I'm excited about that. And that's what gives me this heart to share right now, just some nuggets so that you can begin to prepare your businesses and your personal finances, so that as you're building your business, whether you're considering a business, whether you have just started a business, whether you're like 5 or 10 years in and you need to take your business to the next level, and even if you've been in 20 plus years in your business and you're ready to take it to another dimension, we are here to service you collectively as a community. With that being said, thank you so much for joining me today with Business Strategies and Tips with Lady L. Please visit my website, Success Beyond Strategies. That's Strategz strategz.com, and we'll be more than happy to service you. You can fill out the information at the opening of the website, and we will be more than honored to return phone calls, return emails, and schedule those consultations to make sure that you are, wherever you find your business, whether you're just starting up, you've been at it a while, or you need to go to another dimension, we are here to help you build strategies that become successful actions. Have a great day, everybody. Wonderful Wednesday.